Tim, Tim, Tim.
Well, hello, viewers. Welcome to the Dutch Jury Insights. My name is Kira Roest. I'm the founding mother of the Embassy of Dutch Creativity, and I'm here with these lovely women who have had a jury session. I will shortly introduce them. We have Marloes Scheffers. Hi, Marloes.
Hello,
She's the
thank you.
creative director of Hille Knowlton, and she's worked in numerous places: Kenya, Dubai, London, Paris, Antwerp, but also in the Netherlands. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. We also have Katrina in Kanto. She's executive creative director, has worked also in numerous places. Besides the Netherlands, she has been working in the UK, Thailand, Italy, and the Philippines. And she has a new adventure coming up, of which I'm not allowed to say anything, but we're thrilled and we want to know everything about it in the future. Welcome, Katrina.
Thank you, Kira, and hello, everyone. Great to be here.
And last but not least, we have Sandra Bolt. She's the chief creative officer of VML, but also she has been working everywhere besides the Netherlands. She also been working in Romania and Italy. Welcome, Sandra.
Super happy to be here.
Yeah, me too, because I want to know everything that happened inside the jury room. I've never been on a jury, so please, how does it work when you're together and when you're talking about all the work? Can you give me a bit of an insight? Let's start with Sandra.
Well, we just gathered there and sharpen all our knives and then start throwing them at work. No, I'm joking. I am. It's actually pretty cool. It's a pretty cool experience to get in a room with open-minded people and just look at work with curiosity and fresh eyes and being so open in hearing what other people see and how other people understand the work, because we're so biased through our own experiences and with our life that when you get into a jury room and people start talking about why they like something and how they see it, it's extremely refreshing. So imagine like a group of kindergartners talking about a frog that they see in the park. It's kind of the same experience in the jury room with the work. You just look at things with fresh eyes and start discovering why you love advertising all over again.
Okay, and I was just wondering because I can also imagine if you're a group of kindergarten children, of course, most of the time it's all good, but I also can imagine there's kind of some fight going on, as in, okay, this person thinks this and that person thinks that, and you don't agree with each other. Does that happen, Katrina?
Yeah, so first I think, every award show has its own rules and rhythm, and usually what happens is like sometimes you'll have like a jury president or someone to just go through those rules and maybe set a criteria in terms of what we're looking for and how the discussions are going to go, which I think are is always important, just so everyone starts from there and everyone knows they're supposed to operate with respect and like allow people to voice their opinions, because I think ultimately, like, if everyone is able to do that freely, if everyone is able to express their thoughts freely, then you do get to a richer discussion, which I think reflects on the work that is being chosen.
So we call it discussion. It's not a fight. It's a discussion. That's
Yeah.
always good. So
Yes.
what I noticed is, and you shared the videos that of the work that you really liked, and I had to check it. I actually didn't know a couple of them, and I know Joe is going to share all the links afterwards in the YouTube description. I think it's very helpful, and please check them out because it's really great work to see. Um, but I noticed that I saw the work immediately. I felt, wow, this is amazing. Does that happen when you check out all the different work that is entered, Marloes? Is that something you recognize that it's, oh wow, this is great, and this definitely has to be on the short list or something?
Yeah, so I definitely had that going through all the entries. I thought the quality was very high compared to like some other judging experiences. So I think this year especially, I obviously saw some work that I thought, why was this entered? But like overall, like some cases were immediately, yes, this is really great. Some work that I wish I would have made, so to say. And yeah, what I also loved is being actually at the in-person judging session to see the incredible short list, because at the end of the day, there were so many entries, but like what we discussed in our judging room was I was also very happy with the short list and the selection, and yeah, all great cases. Yeah.
So when you see all the cases, is there a specific theme that you recognize for this year? That it's, I don't know, I recall from previous years that during award show, a lot of things were either charity or doing good. Do you see the same things happening this year, or?
I think the ones being shortlisted actually came from a super relevant insight. Also, like it came from a problem and a problem in society, a societal issue. And actually, they came up with a super clever ideas to help solve it. Actually, which also led us to the discussion in the room. Does advertising actually have that role? Should it like go as far as really solving the issue, or is it enough to like spread awareness? And so I think those were also interesting debates that we were having in the room.
Okay, and
Yeah.
Sander, do you think that with creativity we can solve everything if you have a look at all the cases that you saw, or maybe wishful thinking?
First of all, I think with creativity we can solve everything. Not necessarily looking at the cases, but especially when you look at the cases. But I do think creativity can solve anything and everything, and this is the the DNA of life on Earth. So that's why I'm super excited to be working in a creative field. But I'm really excited to see how brands got on board in this social responsibility uh, take on life in general, and how, yes, in the past years we did see a lot of work being awarded from NGOs that try
Yeah.
to save the world and solve problems. But now brands saw that it's their duty to step into that space and take part in that way of solving the issues, because they are part of the problem, so they need to be part of the solution. So I think one trend is seeing more and more brands solving those social problems where their space is to have that conversation. And I think it's really interesting to see what their solutions are to those problems, because they are sometimes technological, sometimes they're communication solutions, sometimes they're PR stunts. So it's really, really fun to witness. And it gives you peace of mind that the world can be heading into a better place.
Okay, thank you. And Katrina, if we're talking about this, do you think that, maybe to all of you, but let's start with Katrina, as in the Gerety ad is also about female insights and to see a perspective from the female side. Uh, do you think if you're looking at all the cases that have been entered, do you see there is a difference? Is it necessary also if we're talking about creativity and solutions for everything that is happening?
Yeah, so I think what's special about Gerety is it gives women the space to discuss the creative work that we see in real life, but also, it gives it gives the female lens a platform. It kind of um, like shines a light on how like females see the work that we do see outside. And I think it's really important because then it reflects market reality. Like 85% of purchases are made by women. And according to Gerety, 80% of the briefs that we get are targeted to women. So I think it's useful to have women in those rooms where creativity is being judged, just to make sure that whatever we create is resonant in the real world.
Yeah. What about you, Marloes? Do you see the same thing?
Yes, absolutely. So I feel also when it comes to like how even campaigns were created, like we should us females should have a voice. We should have a voice when it comes to like even like judging these awards, but also being in the room when a campaign is being created, is being discussed. Because at the end of the day, it's like we are also the audience. So yeah, it makes complete sense.
So I'm for myself very curious if we have a look at the cases that you shortlisted. There was one I really liked. It's not on the ESG side, but it was the case for the luxury brand
Loewe.
Loewe. You have to check this one out. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Do you think there is a difference between different award shows and the Gerety Award show of the cases that are going to win? So I'm very curious, is it going to happen that the cases that you shortlisted, are they the one who going to win with other award shows as well? Or is there a particular view of women watching these cases where they will not survive a jury session in other award shows? That's my curiosity. How do you feel about that, Sandra?
First of all, there's difference between any type of award show and what's winning, where depending on people in general or the way they are judging the work in their category. In some, it can be the same category, but based on the discussion in the room, they look at different criteria and different work wins. So it's not much of a difference of men and women, but as juries, individual juries. But I do think we can look at work with more sensibility and pay attention more to problematic things that we can bring into the room as conversation where we feel more safe because we're all girls and we can all trace back to the same experiences and the same things, and we can talk about them more freely without the fear of being judged or without the fear of being cornered, because we know we've all kind of have the same base as women. And I think that's really powerful, really interesting, and extremely needed. So I think the majority of the things that are going to win here will win also in other shows. But I think this Gerety type of thing where only women are invited, it's really, really needed. And I'm really, really happy that you brought the Loewe case in. So
Yeah.
when you feel about discussing that, it's one of the things I wanted to discuss. So I'm really happy.
Yeah, me too. As in, otherwise I probably wouldn't have seen it. So I'm very, very happy with this one. As in, I don't know if you have a case like the Loewe, so you have
Loewe.
to spell Loewe, the Loewe case. Is it that when you see it, for me it was instantly, wow, I love the way it has been produced, how it's crafted, stuff like that. But does one of you then stand up and say, okay, I really, really love this, we have to put this forward? Or how does it work?
Yeah,
How do you argument about it?
Well, I think the way that we discussed the work last week was we played the case, and then we talk about, what we really liked about it, where it could have been improved and all that. I think with this particular case, everyone kind of resonated with the deadpan humor. And
Yeah.
and for me, like what was interesting about it is that they use this kind of approach, this entertaining approach, to land a real brand problem, which is, no one can pronounce the name of this brand. Like we've been kind of messing with it for the last couple of minutes, and to be honest, like very honestly, like I didn't know like how it was pronounced until I heard it about 30 times in that video. So I came out of that video now knowing how to pronounce that, but also being entertained and appreciating a high-end luxury brand, trying to become more accessible to people like me.
Yeah.
Also to tap into that, I feel we also for every case that's being sent in, we always also look at the category. It's the fashion industry, and I feel it's very cool that actually this Loewe really it's not taking themselves too seriously. With this.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, I
So
think
this wasn't a more easy one, as in okay, everyone felt okay, this definitely has to win. Was there a case where you had a pretty strong discussion that just didn't make it or just made it?
I think we had several, like some were really well crafted, and then, people would kind of discuss, if the idea is really resonant at this age, whether it's still like a fresh perspective, and that kind of, affects the way that we rank it. I think there were also there were a lot of discussions about work that felt, like it was staged, and it didn't feel real in the world. And I think we were kind of trying to understand like what our point of view on that would just because I think we want to award work that feels like it really made an impact in the real world, rather than it's just work that is made for just our industry to see.
Okay, so can you give an example in that way, as in from the cases that I saw? I recall that there was something for in the two German cases, where the audio case of Hans and another one from the same, and one of them got shortlisted, the other one didn't get shortlisted. So help me understand why one did make it and the other one did not make it.
Yeah, so like Hans, that was like very discussed about in our jury room. I feel the Hans campaign it was because it was really touching upon a super valid issue, and this issue was around all the hatred in songs, actually songs that are pure discrimination, that really encourage rap, rape, for example, or even killing. So we felt that issue is super valid, and to do something about that. So I think what our discussion was about, to give an example, actually the Hans campaign found a loophole in Spotify's system to report it and to report this discrimination content. Our discussion was about like the execution, actually, about the how it came to life, how could people report. Like there was discussion about like could have been better, because that's always a question that we ask ourselves. How could we, like Katrina said, how could have been improved? And actually in the room there were like some amazing suggestions as well. So we all felt this is a super interesting campaign, but we all felt like it could be, maybe it could have even be better. Yeah.
So that's one of the questions that you ask yourself as a jury inside the room. Okay, how could we have done it better?
I think one of the conversations in the room was also about freedom of expression, and the fact that it's tackling censorship in one way or another, and where do you draw the line, and how do you draw that line, and if we have the right to do it. And I think that was a very, very important take on it too. Not only like that, how can we yes, we agree that these messages are not nice to be put out in the world, but where do we step in to censor artistic freedom?
Yeah, it's
And
a
I think,
thin line,
yeah,
I
and I
can
think the conversation
imagine.
about how can we make it better, if we could, was around that a lot. So when you get to problematic issues like that, it's better not to encourage something that limits freedom of expression uh, in the world of arts.
Yeah, and especially in these ages where probably there's a lot of, okay, where can we go? Where can we skip the line? What can we do? What can't we do? Okay, so I was also wondering, as in, I've been talking to a lot of people who have been in juries, and they all get tired of the way case movies are set up, and oh gosh, here we go again. Yeah, we have seen it in that many places without zero media budget. Blah blah blah. Everybody is talking about it. Um, so there's probably a lot of tips on do's and don'ts in that way. But I was also wondering, maybe you can share a couple of, well, your top tip to do and your top tip to don't do things when you enter work. So maybe we can go around and share your insights on that.
Yeah, I can start. So, yeah, my top tip for dues would be there is this category called portfolio cut, and this is an award given to any agency or production house in a country. And all you need to do is submit like a 5-minute reel of your work. And for me, I think that's a great way of celebrating the consistency yielded by a creative culture. And I think that kind of pride is important for agencies or any creative shop, because it talks about how you do things consistently over time. And no one entered from the Netherlands, which I think is a real shame, because I'm aware there are great places here, and I think we just need to be more proud of the work that we do.
Okay, that's the
So that's
do
that's my top
for next year.
do. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, so celebrate the work. I think that it's coming out of the agencies for the Netherlands. I think for don't, I wouldn't just enter work that is stereotypically female. So I think the point of Gerety is to redefine the lens on creativity, but it's the same creativity that we all see. Our world is not just tampons or motherhood or beauty products. It's that and everything else. And if I think if you're an agency who has made a piece of work and you're proud of it and you'd like to get an honest take on it from a female lens, then I think Gerety is a good place to get that point of view.
Cool, thank you. Marloes?
Well, so for me, my top tip is really focus on your case study. I feel like we saw some case studies, and if you have a snappy one, a one with a beautiful like animation, voiceover, everything is right. It just makes a huge difference. And for don't, I would actually say do not not add a description. We saw also some cases that were sent in just with a picture, and then we really had to sort of decipher or guess what the campaign would be. So it may sound silly, but it does make a difference if you add a little description.
Let's add it to the list, okay? Checkbox. Did I do it like that? Okay, thank you. Sandra.
No, I had exactly the same with the don't just submit the work without description, because that was our biggest issue.
Yeah.
And
so double check it.
yes, and I think
Yeah.
correlated with the do, which is always offer as much context as possible to the work you're submitting, because any idea can fall flat if not given the proper context in which it was created and why it was created. So through the case study or through the description, make sure you make people really understand the context around it.
Okay. I have one final question before closing. That's based on your own personal desire to work on a brand that needs a refreshment from a Gerety point of view. So let's start with Sandra again. What's the brand that you really, really want to change, as in from a Gerety perspective?
Um, I don't know exactly. I think all brands need to to have the Gerety check. I don't think it's one in particular that needs to be singled out. I think the Gerety check is a really nice reality check and really kind one.
Okay,
I'm
so
not sure what people
you want
outside.
to work on all the brands, not a particular brand.
Yeah,
Okay, Katrina, any brand you really want to turn around?
Yeah, I mean, I echo Sandra's point of view. I think it's useful in any category, really, like whether it's tech or sports or alcohol or yeah, just entertainment. I think like we make up half the population, you know. So I just think it's useful to kind of understand like what are the things that are resonating with women. And more than that, I just think, you know, just having diverse voices in the table is always going to lead to better insights. And I think that's really important for industry to stay creative.
I really wish that a car brand would do it, as in all the car brands. It's everywhere. It's the same. That will be my personal one. But hey,
Yes.
I see your point. Marloes, any brands that you really want to tackle in that way?
Well, I think it's always lovely to be a disruptor in an industry that you're in. So, like you mentioned, how could we like really turn the whole industry upside down with a campaign that really gets people talking? So, I feel a lot can be done in the health category.
Sure.
So, it's not to say that you know, if you ask me what is the brand that you would love to work on, I wouldn't probably say the health category, but what I would love to do is really be disruptive in with whatever work you're making, and I feel some categories can there is space for disruption.
I love that. I love that also to end this talk with, as in let's call out for disruption and more entries for the Gerety Awards for next year, especially for that category Katrina mentioned. So I want to thank you all for being here. Loved it. It's so good to see you, and I hope to